Like I've had times where we have calls holding, and that gives me anxiety on the ambulance of, nobody's going to this call. There's literally nobody going to it. So I think that's a really important thing for people to realize and this is not, a United States thing. This is not a Colorado thing. This is global. And I don't think there's any
Definitely.
country that has this figured out to a T. I know Canada's having a lot of issues with it. I know England's having a lot of issues with it. It's not just us here. They're pretty much everywhere. So that's really important, and that's something that I think we can definitely dig into. As far as the tactical portion and what that means, so for me, it depends where I'm in. When I was in Iowa, I was a sworn deputy with them, and then I was a paramedic with the local service, and went through their reserve academy, which is like their volunteer academy. They get you certified as a law enforcement officer, and then after doing that and kind of working with them, I ended up getting onto their SWAT team as an entry team member primarily. So had the same responsibilities as anybody else on the team, but my subspecialty was as the team medic. And through that, a lot of what we do is proactive. So we are looking at the health of the team first and foremost. So we get, a list of their medical issues, their allergies, their medications. We get, next of kin, emergency contacts, and we put that all on cards. So we have that. If one of them goes down, we have all their information right there. We can implement an emergency plan based on them. The next part of that is making sure that they're prepared, making sure that they have, individual first aid kits in all of their vests. They know how to use tourniquets. They know how to pack wounds. They know how to do CPR, take off armor if they need to help expose somebody for me. And then training them to be an extra set of hands if the tactical environment permits it, to come down with me and actually render care to their teammates. And then beyond that, we do like risk assessments for, the team commanders. A lot of what we do are warrant based. So they're planned out. We know who's going to be in the house, and we actually create a medical plan for them as well. A SWAT medic is for the team initially, but if, something were to happen to somebody in the house, whether that's exposure to tear gas, whether that's, having, a fall or being tackled by a SWAT officer, everything from a bone break stub toe up to, unfortunately getting shot if the situation required it, then we're
Mhm.
there for them as well. It's not just for the law enforcement agency. We're there for who they're for. We're there to protect life in all its forms, whether that's, a criminal, a person of interest, or a bystander or an officer. So we go into those. It's kind of warrant based, but then also, if the patrol officer pulls somebody over and they pull a gun on them and barricade themselves inside of a home, if somebody takes their, wife or kids hostage, if, there's been a shooting and somebody's, run away, we will respond to that in an emergency setting as well. Not so much active shooters. Active shooters should be, and I say that because it has not always been the case in recent history. It should not be taken care of by a SWAT team. It should be contact teams by patrol officers. A SWAT team is much more of a methodical element than an emergency
Mm.
response element, with the exception of places like, LA, where they're a full-time team. In this area, we're not, because we just don't have that call volume.